Hello, good day, and welcome to Bodman Heights Academy once again. My name is Babatunde Olatunde David Olaneno. Now, I will be teaching you table completion in Heights academic reading. Table completion is one of the questions you can encounter in Ielts academic reading. This question is similar to fill in the gap without options. So if you have not watched my video on filling the gap without options, please go and watch it first before you watch this, because all the tips I gave you in filling the gap without option are equally applicable here. They are the tips we will use to solve this question. There is just the only difference is how the question appears. That is the only difference. There is nothing different in them. The tips I gave you, all the tips are applicable to this question. You can use the tips to solve this question. Now, table completion. If you want to follow me here, I want you to go into, if you have Cambridge 13, test 3 reading passage 1, Cambridge 13, test 3, reading passage 1. You can follow me solving this question. You will see the passage there. The coconut palm. The coconut palm. And if you look at question 1 to 8, is in form of a table, as you can see on your screen. Is in form of a table. Question 1 to 8. I have told you, when you see any question, you don't need to just go straight to the question. You don't need to read the passage. Go straight to the question. Now, this is the question we have. Table completion. I told you all the tips I gave you in filling the gap without option are applicable here. What is the first thing I told you to do? Now, you have seen this question. It has gaps, but is in form of a table. That is it's to tell you that it's a table completion question. And I gave you two ways to recognize a fill in the gap without options. And you can see this question as a word instruction. The instruction says one word only. That means your answer cannot be more than one word. So you can use the tips for filling the gap without option to solve this question. I have told you that as long as you saw those things, you can use that method to solve it. Now, how will you approach this question now? The only difference is that this question is in form of a table. And when you look at this table, it has column. It has 1, 2, 3 column, and it has rows. Rows. The first row, part, description, uses. The second row, trunk. The third row, leaves. The fourth, flowers, and so on. Now, and this question has a title, the coconut palm. That means the whole question is about the coconut palm. When you see a title on a passage in her head, that is what that passage is all about. When you see a title on a question, that is all that question is all about. Now, if you remember my next steps that I gave you, pick your keyword from the title and around the first gap. The title is coconut palm. Coconut palm is definitely one of our keywords. Now, in this one now, you can see the row, part, description, uses. You will make use of the row here in table completion. Make use of the row. So, the first question will always be in the first row. It may not be in the first row. It may be in the second row. Maybe there's no question in the first row. There's no gap there. But the row where you find your first gap, pick your keywords there, where you find your first gap. In this one, we have our first gap in the second row, trunk. Trunk. Now, when you want to pick your keyword, you can pick your keyword across that row, anywhere on that row. As long as it's on that row, you can pick your keyword there. It will direct you to the answer. Now, let us see. Look at this. The first thing on that row is trunk, up to 30 meters. Trunk will be our keyword. 30 meters will be our keyword. Anywhere we see trunk, 30 meters, we know our answer will be around that place. And then uses. Now, you can see that part is trunk. They are talking about the uses of the trunk. If you understand table very well. Part, description. So, the description up to 30 meters. They are telling you the trunk is up to 30 meters. Uses of the trunk. Uses. Timber for houses and the making of dash. That means that is our keyword now, trunk, 30 meters. Timber for houses and making of something. You should be able to predict your answer to some extent. My first tip that I gave you. You should be able to predict what your answer will be in the passage. Here now, this question is telling us that the trunk can be used as a timber for houses. Because this row is about the trunk. You can see part, description, uses. You know the way table are now. When they ask you to present something in form of a table, the same thing they are doing here. The trunk, they are describing the trunk. They are telling us the uses of the trunk. Then the leaves, they describe the leaves. They are telling us the uses of the leaves. The same thing. When you have a table in IELTS, that is how to interpret the table in IELTS reading. Now, the trunk is up to 30 meters. Then it is used as timber for houses and the making of something. So anywhere we see the trunk in the passage, and of course, when we see the trunk, we will say something like 30 meters, up to 30 meters. And then we will see the uses. We are looking, our question is under the uses. So we will look for where they talk about the uses of the trunk. And the passage must tell us it is used as timber for houses and making of something. We don't know what other things they are using it for. We want to find out in the passage. What is the second thing? The passage must say the two things. Timber for houses and making of something. We don't know yet. Let us skim the passage to find our keyword. Don't forget, if you listen to my previous lectures, I told you a number is always a strong keyword. A name is a strong keyword. Trunk is a name. 30 meters is number. If I were you, in higher reading, some people waste time. If I were you, I don't need to pick a lot of keyword. 30 meters, they cannot change it. I will quickly look for where they wrote 30 in number. It's easy to pick among several words. So if I skim the passage, looking at the passage once, I will pick 30 because imagine they just wrote millions of words and they just wrote a number. It will be easy to pick among them. Now, so those are tips for you. Those are tips. In order not to waste time skimming or you can easily find trunk as well. But trunk we mixed with the other words. But 30 will not mix because it's a number. Now let's skim the passage to see where we will find it. In fact, I can see 30 now. I can see 30 meter tall. I have not seen trunk, but I can see 30 in the second paragraph. So if you look around, okay, I can see trunk just before 30 now. I can see trunk, I can see 30 meters. Let's see. Can I see timber? I can see timber around that place, around the same place. If you look at the second paragraph, uh, the third and the fourth line, I can see all those keywords there. I can quickly read that place to know. Sometimes I don't scan. I just go straight to focus group because I'm sure my answer is around that place. I can see most of my keywords. Now, don't forget what the question is asking you. Trunk. Timber for houses and making of dash. Making of dash. Making of what? That's what we are looking for. Let us read. Okay. The coconut palm has a smooth, slender, gray trunk. Smooth, slender, gray trunk. I'm not interested in all that, but trunk is there. That means they are talking about trunk. Okay. Up to 30 meters tall. That was what the question also told us. That means that is to show you are on the right track. Your answer is close. When you are saying the words around your question, you know that you are close to the answer. Up to 30 meters tall, full stop. This is an important source of timber. They are talking about trunk. This is an important source of timber. Remember, the question also told us that. But we are looking for the second thing the question says. The question says, uh, timber for houses and making of dash. So the passage says, this is an important source of timber for building houses. And you should be alert. And is increasingly being used as a for endangered hardwood in the furniture construction industry. Okay. The question asks us, timber for houses and making of. What are the timber used for? Timber for houses and making of what? Making of what? And this passage is telling us now that um, they are being used as a replacement for endangered hardwood in the furniture construction industry. Furniture construction, making of furniture, construction of furniture. Key synonyms for making of something. I know some they are used as a replacement for hardwood. Replacement. So instead of hardwood, they are using this timber from the trunk for in the furniture construction industry. So for making of furniture. You can read further whether there will be something that makes sense. The trunk is surmounted by a rosette of leaves, each of which may be so. That doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense here is that it is used in furniture construction. Furniture construction, making of furniture. So furniture will be our answer. Furniture, furniture. But don't forget, I told you must perform two checks on your answer. First, it must conform with the instruction. The instruction says one word only. This answer conforms with the instruction because our answer is one word, furniture. The second check, where you insert the answer into the gap, it must be grammatically correct. It must make sense. So if you insert it into this gap, timber for houses and making of furniture. Making of furniture. Now, there is another tip I want to give you. Always avoid repetition. Repetition when you are writing your answer. Some people may, let us assume that if this question says the instruction is not more than two words, some people will pick furniture construction as their answer. Avoid repetition. You cannot write construction because the question already says making of. Making of is the same thing as construction. So if you write construction, that will be repetition. If you read it together, you say timber for houses and making of furniture construction. Making of furniture construction. You can see it can never make sense. So always avoid repetition. Even if the instruction say no more than two words, but this instruction says one word only. Furniture is our answer. Timber for houses and making of furniture. Now, another tip which I forgot to say in matching of statement, in filling the gap without option is copy the answer the way you see it in the passage. The spelling and everything, you can copy it. If everything is small letter in the passage, copy it like that. Or you can copy all the answer, the same spelling, the way it is, but you can copy everything, write it in capital letters. But don't change the spellings. Don't change the spelling. Please take note. Don't change the spelling. Like in this question now, the way they wrote furniture, everything is in small letter. No S. Furniture. Furniture. No S. Copy it like that, or write everything in capital in your answer sheet. It is very important. It is very important. Many people fail just because of spelling. So furniture is the answer for that question. Now, if you go to the next question, is under flowers. Flowers. So anywhere you see flowers, that is where the answer will be around that place. Flower will be one of our keywords at the top of the trunk. So they are describing the flower. Stem provides sap. Stems. Stems provide sap, used as a drink or a source of dash. So they are saying stem provides sap. The sap is used as a drink or a source of something. The passage will tell us. But I like table because it's easy to locate where the answer will be. Like this one, you know they are talking about flowers. So anywhere we find flower is where all the other things will be. So you can actually look for where flowers is, and then you will see all these things. And don't forget your next tip. Answer follows in filling the gap. So we start looking for our answer from where we pick the last answer. So if you continue to skim the passage from where you pick your last answer, you will see leaves first, and then you will see flowers. Still in the second paragraph, you will see flowers toward the end of the second paragraph. Now, if we read where the flowers are, let us read the question first. Flowers are the top of the trunk. Stem provides sap used as a drink or a source of something. Sap is used as a drink and a source of dash. Drink and so we are looking for the second thing it is used for. Now, let us read where flowers are. Okay, okay, immature coconut flowers. Let me see if there's anywhere they talk about flower before that immature. The leaves are in vain, they are sent in many parts of the world are used as brushes. Okay, that is talking about leaves. Now, immature coconut flowers are tightly clustered together among the leaves at the top of the trunk. Don't forget, the question told us that the flowers are at the top of the trunk. Can you see? The flower stems may be tapped for their sap. The flower stems may be tapped for their sap. So the flower stem may be the flower stems may be tapped because of their sap to produce a drink. The question says, stem provides sap used as a drink or a source of what? Okay, let's look for the second thing they are using them for. To produce a drink, and the sap can also be reduced by boiling to produce a type of sugar used for cooking. The sap can also be, so if you read that place, the flower stem may be tapped for their sap to produce a drink. And the sap can also be reduced by boiling to produce a type of sugar, a type of sugar used for cooking. So, and the question asks you, used as a drink or a source of what? A source of sugar. Sugar. You can see. Don't forget, perform your check on your answer and insert that answer into the gap to see if it will make sense. Stem provides sap used as a drink or a source of sugar. You can see it is as simple as ABC. So if you look at the other question, I believe you should be able to solve them. The next question is under the fruit. Fruit, outer layer, middle layer, inner layer. So if you look at it, you should be able to get everything right following my tips. Don't forget, copy the answer the way you see it in the passage, exactly the way they wrote it. Or you can write your own in capital letters, but make sure the spelling are the same. Make sure your spellings are the same. Thank you very much for participating in this class. I hope you have gained something. Again, if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to this channel and like it so that when I drop a new video on another topic, you will be aware I have dropped one. Thank you very much. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the comment box and I will provide answers to them. Don't forget, you need band 7 in Ielts academic reading. You need to score a minimum of 7 over 9 to be able to say you pass the reading module. And to score 7, you need to score 30 over 40. You need to score 30 over 40. So your target is 30 and above because the whole question, there are 40 questions. So you need to score minimum of 30 to score band 7 in IELTS reading. Thank you very much. See you in the next class. Bye-bye.